And welcome to tonight's team call. Please make sure you're muted as we do have a guest speaker tonight. Super excited to hear from Cayla. But first, I would love to quickly start off with any recognition. If you have anyone to recognize, you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. But I wanted to start off with shouting out Audrey because she hit diamond last week. So excited for her. That's such a huge accomplishment. So she worked really hard for that. Is there anyone else that wanted to do some quick recognition before we let Cayla take the stage?
I will. I wanted to shout out Rochelle. She just hit month 2 success starter. So that's huge.
I wanted to shout out Andrea because you've been having some fire content lately, and I'm hyped. I want to join your boot camps if I wasn't already in them. So
thank you.
I want to shout out my new coach, Jordana. This is her first team call. She dove into coaching last week and has already been super consistent on her stories, inviting. So great job, girlfriend.
I'll jump off of that one because we have another brand new coach in here, Corinne. I know this is first call, and that's always a memorable one. I still remember mine. And I know this is first of many, so I'm so excited to do this with you, girl. Welcome to the family.
I want to shout out Cass because I know Cass was super nervous to talk on her stories the first time, and she's killing it, talking consistently every day, and you sound like a pro, Cass. You're doing awesome.
So I want to shout out Ariel and Morgan. I don't know if Morgan's on yet, but this coming month in our bod group, the three of us are going all in and actually running the bod group for the first time. So I'm just really super proud of these ladies for stepping up to that challenge with me.
Anybody else? If not, I will start with our guest speaker. So I'm sure you recognize Cayla. She's actually one of the coaches we collaborated with to run an Emerald and Diamond Push group this year so far. So I'm really excited to hear from her tonight. She is a 5-star Diamond elite coach. So that's a big deal. And she's been a coach since 2018, and she's hit Success Club for 33 months in a row. Cayla, do you have a presentation? Do I have to make you? Okay, thought so. Let's just see here. Make host. Should be okay now.
Yeah, yep. Okay, one sec. Am I good to go? Yeah. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about setting yourself up for Q2 and just kind of planning ahead for success. By the way, I'm not going to look at the chat because I'll get super distracted. So if there's any questions or anything after, I'll come back to that. But basically, yeah, I'm going to be chatting with you guys about setting yourself up for Q2 and just kind of reevaluating where you're at and what your goals are and all of that good stuff. So first things first is now is such a good time to reevaluate that vision that you made at the beginning of the year or you made whenever you started coaching if you're a newer coach, and getting really clear on what your vision is moving forward. So reread that vision that you made at the beginning of the year. Are you on track? Have you achieved things? So maybe you need to rewrite your vision. Just remember the plan that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year, the excitement and the vision that you had going into the year, and kind of reflect on that. And then figure out if you need to kind of rewrite your new vision to do things that are on your vision board or your vision statement or whatever, do they still apply? Have you already hit some goals or been able to achieve some things that were on that vision? Or have they come into become your reality already? Do you need to go ahead and make some changes? Are you further along now and need to make shifts? Maybe you're a couple steps behind where you thought you might be. Do you need to make shifts that way? And then when you're writing your vision, I think it's super important to kind of rewrite your vision every quarter anyways. I'm not sure if you guys have read the 12-week year book, but that kind of breaks it down into your year as 12 weeks. So now would be a perfect time to kind of rewrite your vision and figure out maybe things have changed, right? We all have mindset shifts or things change in our business that we want to improve on or have bigger dreams or whatnot. So writing out your vision should be including exactly everything that you want to happen in your day. I heard this on a training at the beginning of the year, and it was like such a different way to think about your vision. For me, I've always been like, okay, like my vision board, this is what I want to achieve. But this exercise included writing exactly down like how your exact day is going to be from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, and just like literally writing like pages out of exactly how it's going to be. Like, what is it going to smell like when you wake up in the morning? Like, what are you going to walk downstairs to? Are you going to sit down and have some pre and read a personal development book? Are you going to wake up to an alarm? Like, do you have to bring your kids to school or whatever it is? And just really getting clear on all of these details, that helped me to dream so much bigger and to realize that like that isn't actually as far away. And if you're not thinking about it, it's never going to happen. So I suggest that you kind of do that and write down on a piece of paper, like just jot down, like take 10, 15, 20 minutes and kind of actually visualize exactly how you want your day to go, the flow of it. When are you going to be working? Are you going to have afternoons off? Whatever it is, just kind of include it all in what your perfect dream day would be. That's kind of the first thing. And then the second thing would be to reflect back on last quarter's goals. So what did you accomplish last quarter? I'm sure you went into the last quarter with some goals, some things you wanted to achieve, some milestones that you were pushing for. What did you actually accomplish? Maybe what didn't you accomplish and what haven't you got to yet? And kind of figure out how to readjust your goals for this quarter in order to make these happen. Are you further along, so you need to maybe dive into what you had planned to do for quarter 3 or whatever it is, or you were a little farther behind, so maybe you need to work a little bit more this quarter to make them happen. Are you spending your time right? This is a perfect time to reflect on that. Are you spending your time right? Are you doing the right actions to reach those goals? Maybe you fell a little bit short, and that's totally normal. We all miss goals. We all fall short on goals. I can't tell you how many times I've missed goals in my business, but it's going to happen. But it's good time to kind of reevaluate and figure out where the activities that I was doing, is that why I didn't hit those goals? Should I reevaluate? Should I be doing more invites? Should I be running more sneak peeks? Should I be opening up more spots in my challenge group or whatever it is? Just kind of reevaluating and figuring out if you're doing the right activities. And maybe you need to make a little bit of a shift and maybe do more invites or host more sneak peeks or whatever it is. And then are you still kind of like I said, are you still doing the right work to back these goals? Sometimes maybe if we're further along than we thought, we sometimes slack back a little bit. Are you still on track with these goals that you have set for yourself? And are you putting in that work that aligns with what these goals are for yourself and for your business and for your future? So just kind of doing a little bit of reflecting and reevaluating where you're at before you can even kind of make a plan for quarter 2, I think is super important. And then kind of knowing the dates going into the quarter, also really important. So if you guys didn't know, there's 4 different quarters in the year, obviously, and Beachbody breaks them up to help us to move forward and to hit certain ranks and to be able to qualify for Star Diamond bonuses and stuff like that. So if you don't know these dates, you want to be able to know them so that you can plan for success. Without a goal or a plan, it's just not going to happen magically. So quarter 2 starts on obviously April 1st, the week ends April 7th, and then quarter 2 ends the week ending June 30th. But the last 6 weeks to qualify for ranks or Star Diamond bonuses actually starts in May 19th. So that comes up pretty quickly. So it's also important to kind of put that into consideration when you are making your goals and when you're setting up your plan for quarter 2, is to know that the last 6 weeks of the quarter start on May 19th through June 23rd. So comes up quickly. Okay, so now let's dive into what are your big goals for this quarter? Do you have rank goals? Do you have income goals? Are you trying to become a 5-star diamond coach? Are you trying to become a 2-star diamond coach? Are you trying to consistently make $1,000 a week? What are you trying to do as far as these goals? Kind of knowing these goals and writing them down. Are you knowing how many new coaches you want to add to your team, right? If you just say, oh yeah, I'd love to add some coaches to my team this month, well, that's not going to push you and incentivize you to actually go out there and do it. So kind of having a number, are you going to add 3 coaches this month, 8 coaches, 10 coaches, whatever it is. And I suggest maybe making it higher than whatever you have been doing in the past quarter. Right? Because if you always set a bigger goal, you're going to get that much closer versus if you set a small goal and you miss it, then you're going to be way behind. And then also knowing your success club points that you will want to earn this month. And now this is kind of going to go into the next thing is reverse engineering your goals. But in order to maybe hit that rank or hit that income or help that number of coaches, that is also going to help you determine the number of success club points you need to earn. So all of your big goals, like this kind of says, are going to really like intertwine. So whatever that big goal is what I suggest you kind of focus on that big main goal, and those other goals are kind of going to fall into place, right? If your rank goal is probably going to kind of equal your income goal, and then you're going to need to know how many new coaches you need to be adding based on kind of those rank goals. So instead of focusing on a million small goals, which can seem really overwhelming, focus on that one big goal for you that you have for this quarter. So is it locking in 2-star diamond? What do you need to do then to achieve that goal? How are you going to do that? So for example, here I put 5-star diamond coach this quarter is, say that's your big goal. And now you can kind of adjust this accordingly to whatever it is that is your goal, but say that is your big goal for this quarter, right? Need in order to make that happen. Maybe you have 3 diamonds already and you just need to advance 2 new diamonds. Now it's time to look into your downline and see, do you have coaches in those places that are pushing to diamond currently? If yes, then how can you better serve them? How can you better help them? How can you help them advance to diamond, right? Do you need to provide them with more accountability? Do you need to do like bi-weekly one-on-one calls, more check-ins, more trainings for them, more one-on-one support? Do they know exactly the steps that they need to be taking in order to advance to diamond? Do they need those emeralds? What are the things that you can do to better help those coaches reach those goals while also continuously adding and growing, because you never know. Or if not, if you don't have any people that are any coaches that are pushing towards diamond, then you need to make sure that you're focusing on recruiting new business builders and that's your kind of main focus, right? If you don't have people pushing, you need to find these business builders that are going to be these people, and then helping them achieve emerald, helping them see the bigger vision and why diamond is so important, and so on and so on. So I hope that example kind of helps break it down, but kind of depending on whatever your goal is, you can kind of obviously put in the missing pieces of what you need to achieve and what you need to focus on in order to make sure that you are achieving these goals and that vision that you have for the quarter. Okay. I always talk really fast, so I hope you guys are keeping up. Okay. So now how are you going to make them happen? Again, this is reverse engineering, which I think is so, so, so important, right? It can be like, okay, I have 3 months. Like, that's a long time. I can make things happen. But if you break it down, like, it's going to seem a lot more doable versus saying, like, I'm going to achieve this in this amount of time. But if you break it down and have little goals that you're going to achieve each month and each week, it's going to seem a lot more attainable for you to actually make them happen versus having that big goal that seems so far away. So break it down monthly. What do you need to achieve each month in order to make these goals happen? How many business builders do you need to be adding each month? How many new diamonds do you need to be advancing each month? What success club numbers do you need to be achieving each month? And then break it down weekly. So again, the same exact questions you're going to ask yourself, but just kind of break it down even more. So adding a new coach each week seems a lot more doable than adding 20 new coaches in the quarter or whatever it is, right? Just kind of focusing on these even smaller goals to get you where you want to be. So that is kind of that, breaking it down that way. And then what do you need to do? So do you figure out now that you have your goals, now that you have your plan of what you need to achieve and the different milestones that you need to be doing in order to get there, figure out what exactly you need to do. So do you need to be doing more invites? Are you not adding a lot of business builder coaches to your team? Do you need to be doing more invites to the coaching opportunity? Do you need to be talking about the coaching opportunity more? Are you running consistent sneak peeks? Do you have a plan of when your sneak peeks are going to be for this quarter? I think that is so important to do, and something that I myself need to get better about is planning exactly when my sneak peeks are going to be each month ahead of time, so that they happen no matter what. So then it's not like, oh, well, I was super busy this week, so I couldn't do it. Or, oh, no one wanted to be in my sneak peek, so I didn't do it. Have that plan in place and consistently be talking about it, consistently be reaching out to people and connecting about it so that it does happen. Always have the plan. Anything. Put it in your calendar right now for the next 3 months, and you're going to be amazed at how consistent you get with them and how many more people you're going to be adding to your team. So do you need to do more invites and follow-ups to reach your goals? Are you wanting to add more coaches? Are you sharing about the coaching opportunity enough? When are your sneak peeks each month for the next quarter? Or on the flip side, are you wanting to add more clients to your client groups? Are you sharing about the programs, the nutrition plans, the behind the scenes that go into that, the accountability enough in order to be helping more clients to get started in your groups? Do you have information already ready to send out if someone reaches out? I know personally, I always send people that are interested in my client groups and coaching a video kind of explaining the different options and how to get started. So having kind of something handy already made so that you can just send it to them is super, super helpful and going to save you so much time. And then are you showing up daily on social media, adding value to build trust? I know that sometimes that can be a hard thing, right? Especially at first, is building up that consistency on social media. A lot of us leaders now, like, we do it all the time. So it's just like second nature to us. But at the beginning, it took a lot of consistency and getting outside of your comfort zone to do that. So maybe that's something that you need to work on compared to last quarter, right? Maybe you want to be more consistent. Maybe you want to be able to show up more and build that trust and add value to people. So kind of figuring out those things. So these are some things you should be kind of thinking about in order to make sure that you're achieving all of your goals. And again, all of these things that you're doing are going to tie into your rank goals, your success club numbers, your new coaches, your income goals, all of that. And then, so now what is your plan? Remember, if you don't have a goal, then you don't know what action items you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So having the goal and being able to shoot for something is going to get you so much farther along than if you're just like, I want to be a 5-star diamond coach this year. Like, you need to have the goal and the set date and all of the action behind it in order to make sure that you're moving in the right direction and that your plan is going to bring you to success. That's all I got. I talk really fast.
I love that, Cayla. Thank you. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So there's a few like newer coaches on this call. So what would your advice be to a brand new coach that's like just hopping on a new team call tonight? Like, what would you, I guess, give advice to them for like starting to create their own goals for their business?
Yeah, so I would kind of do that vision activity, figure out what your dreams are. Where do you want this business to take you? Are you looking for it to just be a part-time thing? Are you looking to take it full-time eventually in a couple years or a year or whatever it is? Really kind of work on that vision exercise and figure out what exactly your ideal life and your dreams are, because this business can take you there. And kind of figuring that out first, and then figuring out, making sure that you know what Emerald is and making sure that you know what Success Club is, and kind of doing these actions in order to, because that's going to build you up, right? So obviously the first few goals in your business should be achieving Emerald and hitting Success Club every month. So as a newer coach, these would be things to focus on. And again, these are going to then play into building your business and achieving kind of all the goals and stuff that I talked about.
Does anyone have any questions for Cayla? Nobody?
I'll go. I feel like right now I'm really struggling to find a good PD book that's like resonating with me. I don't know what is wrong. I just like cannot get into any book. So recommendations, like your like favorite PD book that like really, really helped you.
That's a good
Yeah.
question. I feel like there's so many. I have to like think. There's just so many. Hold on, I'm reading the 10x rule right now, and this is like my 4th time attempting to read it. I couldn't get into it any other time, but now I'm like, why didn't I like this?
I know, I feel like this is always like a personal question, but
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard. I feel like it depends on where you are in your business, like what stage you're at and what it changes all the time, you know, like if you're looking for like more leadership things or if you're working on your mindset. And I feel like depending on where you're at in your business is going to play a role in that, and just like the season of life or like the month that it is. Like I know the past few months I've needed a lot of like mindset type things, just to kind of like go back to all of that. So I feel like it just really depends. It's not really a great answer, but there aren't really that are like, I just read Fear is Your Homeboy again. What else did I read? Yeah, I don't know.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's even a question, but just kind of curious about like how like business builders like do you invite to the coaching opportunity or like how do you go about that?
Yeah, so I think like Shauna and Steph, a lot of her coaches come from her challenge groups. I've never really done that. I started as a coach myself, and I had never done a Beachbody program or had Shakeology or even done anything before. So I just dove into the coaching opportunity. So I really that's kind of how I always add coaches to my team, is a lot of coaches have never done a program before, I've never even heard of Beachbody. So I heavily talk about the coaching opportunity on my social media. So I feel like that makes it a little bit easier for me to then invite that way. But that's how I've always done it, is I just invite, like if I'm talking about coaching heavily on my social media, then I invite to the coaching opportunity right there. And I always invite to like, hey, I'm not sure if you've seen me talking about coaching or whatnot, but I think you could love this opportunity too. I would love to be able to share more information with you. Would you be open to it? Something kind of like that.
And do you get a lot of like objection from people being like, oh no, like I couldn't do that, like when you
I
just invite
mean,
them?
not any different than like challenge groups. I feel like people are pretty open usually to learning more information. I would say maybe like after they check it out, there's sometimes like time objections. They don't like understand fully like how much time it takes and stuff like that, but not really when I'm inviting, I wouldn't say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I have a question. So how do you keep your coaches or your business builders motivated? Like, do you use a group chat, or do you use like a Facebook group, or like how do you keep your coaches like motivated?
Yeah. So we have a team group chat, so everyone's in that, and then I also have like separate group chats, so like Emerald and above, we have a group chat and stuff like that. And then I feel like I'm always like kind of checking in with them, and we have like team pages and stuff like that. We actually just set up a business builders page, so that's kind of able to see who actually wants to build a business, and we can kind of better help them in that way. But especially my newer coaches, I make sure that they really know the importance of Success Starter and achieving Success Starter in their business and achieving Emerald in their first month or so, and just kind of checking in with them and holding them accountable to kind of hitting those. Yeah.
And for doing that, like you just run a chat group and just keep like sending them messages saying like the importance, or how do you kind of show them the importance of it?
So it's explained in my new coach trainings that I send over to them. It kind of talks about like the importance of hitting Success Club every month in your business, and I'll chat one-on-one with my new coaches that get started. So I'll kind of like make sure what they know what their goals are, and I can figure out like if they're wanting to grow a business, then this is what I would suggest you do, and things like that. It's more like one-on-one when they're hitting like their first goals. And then like as they hit Emerald, then they get added into our other group chat, which is more like I'm in there consistently, and it's people that are wanting to build a business. Does that help? Yeah, cool.
Anyone else? Love all the questions. I knew you guys had some in you. Cayla's not that scary. I was going to ask you another question. Oh, okay. So when, say, for example, you're sending your coach invites and then somebody responds, they ask for more information. Are you somebody who like asks to jump on a call with them? Or do you just send them like a whole bunch of information? Or do you send them a recording of a sneak peek? I always
Yeah,
wish
so I have like, it's basically a recording of a sneak peek, but it's just like a standalone video. So I made like a PowerPoint and it basically goes over like the whole opportunity, goes over everything. And it's just like on Zoom, and I like shared my screen and recorded myself and then uploaded the video onto YouTube. So it's like, I think it's like 30 minutes. And yeah, that's what I do, just so that I always have something to send to someone and I don't have to like make them wait for a sneak peek.
That's true. That makes sense. Okay. Because sometimes I find like when I send them a video, I don't always get them to respond right away. I don't know if they just like whatever, but it's just nice to hear how other people do it. So
yeah. It's so funny that like every team is so different, because that's how I've always like learned to do it. Like that's how my upline always did it. So I didn't know there was anything different really until I started chatting with other coaches, which is kind of cool. Everyone does it differently and has success in their own ways, which is cool.
So true. Anyone else before we let Cayla go?
Just something kind of quick to follow up with what you talked about at the beginning about like recasting your vision. If you have that month where you're not like hitting your goals that you wanted or whatever, how is there anything else you do besides just sitting and rewriting your visions, or are there any other tricks that you use to get kind of back on track?
Yeah, I would just like personal development, dive into more podcasts, more books, kind of like books, whatever it is that you're struggling with. Maybe it's like fear or whatever, kind of diving into that. And then also like reevaluating my action. So anytime that I'm not like hitting the goals that I want to be, I'm like, okay, maybe my invites, the wording needs to be changed up, or I'm not like clear enough in my invites, or maybe my social media isn't showing enough of like adding enough value to be able to gain people's trust. So I'll kind of just do like a reevaluation of what I'm doing and just kind of seeing maybe I need to make some tweaks and changes in my wording or in my posting or things like that.
I have a question. So we've talked a lot about casting your vision going into Q2, which is awesome. But is there anything specific you do at this time of the month where you still maybe have that big goal to hit for Thursday? What do you do different at the end of the month to finish strong?
The end of the month is a lot of follow-ups, I would say, like different people that I've kind of connected with and chatted with previously in the month, or maybe the end of last month or whatever. It's a lot of follow-ups and letting people know like to get started, or we're getting started now, or if they're interested in being in our next group, and just letting them know to make sure that they get started by that point. But yeah, it's always kind of follow-ups and that last push of the week to both end this month strong and then also to be able to start off your next month strong.
There was a question in the chat that says best way to find new connections.
Cool, like new people to follow. I think that's what probably that means. I go to a lot of like different accounts on Instagram. So like I always would go to like people that were on The Bachelor. I don't know why, but I just figured that they were like probably in their 20s, like around my age. So I would always go to there to kind of connect with new people and to follow people there, or different like athletic brands that I really like, or like local bloggers, or different like local bars I would also go to, and just kind of connect with the people that are liking their pictures. And typically how I do that is I'll just go and like follow like 100 people a day is what I usually do, like probably like 25 from different accounts, so it's not all like the same account. And then I'll go into the people that I followed that day and kind of sort it by latest, and then go and connect and engage with these people on there. And then that way I can kind of, maybe they're not totally my person, or they're way younger, or I accidentally followed a guy or whatever, then I can kind of go through and like unfollow people from there, but also kind of connect and be able to like save people to collections to then go ahead and like continuously be engaging with them.
I have one last question.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was something that like you were like, okay, yeah, that works every time, to like attract new coaches, like new working coaches, what would that be?
Oh gosh. That's hard. I don't know. I feel like I will say like a lot of the new, like the coaches that I do add, it's not within that first invite. It's usually within like me following up multiple times or them being in multiple sneak peeks or just me like being able to like breathe belief into them and like show them what's possible. It's usually just like my consistency. I've had coaches that have been watching me since I started coaching, like just sign up now. So there isn't really like one thing. I would just say it's really your consistency with everything, with inviting, with following up with them, with offering sneak peeks for them to follow along, and also continuing to be able to share the coaching opportunity and get it kind of in front of them on your social media. So there's not like one thing. I think it's just like being consistent with it all.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm a bit newer,
Okay.
but I'm starting to get the hang of like connecting, engaging, and like saving to collections. And I'm just wondering, like, I know I've watched some guided power hours where people have like, I don't know, like 3 likes, 2 comments, 1 response to a story or message. Do you have a formula like that you kind of follow, or like, do you kind of put feelers out, like their photos first and come back to them, or how do you kind of approach doing that?
Yeah, so I would say it totally depends on like when I go to their account, like if there's something that we really connect with, then I'll probably engage with them more. Then I'll like their pictures, maybe send them a message or respond to their stories or whatever, and then save them to a collection. Maybe if I go to their page and there isn't something that like jumps out to me that we can connect on right away, then I'll just maybe like a few pictures. But I don't have like a certain formula. It just kind of really depends on the person and if they're sharing something that I relate to.
Okay, cool. And do you sort them out into collections based on like, you have like a collection where you were really able to connect with them off the bat, you found a lot of things that you had in common, and then like a separate collection where it's kind of like need to engage a little more for those people that you're kind of just liking their photos, or do you just sort them into the same one?
Yeah, so I will put everyone that like I think I could connect with or we have something similar that I see within their page. I'll put them into a collection, and I have my collections by month. So like I'll have January collection, February collection, and then I can kind of go back and make sure that I'm continuously engaging with them if I see something in them or whatever.
Sorting them by month. That is genius. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah. And then also like I know sometimes I always struggle. I know someone asked about connections, but I always struggle with like, okay, what account do I go to today? I also have like a collection saved of like accounts that I really like that are like bigger that I can go to find more people. So that's also something I just started doing. And I was like, why didn't I think about this before? I'm sitting here trying to find an account to go to.
Awesome. Well, we will wrap this up. You've answered so many questions. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us tonight. That was an awesome call. Tomorrow, guys, we have Audrey doing a guided power hour for us at, I believe, 6. So hopefully to see you guys there. Anyways, thank you again, Cayla, and I'll chat with you guys soon.